Okay, hello everyone who's here on Zoom and those who are watching us on Facebook. We are starting right on time at 7:05, perfectly as planned. Otherwise, I will give you a short introduction on 3D concrete competition because this event is closely related. And on the other hand, we will later continue on with Atis, who hopefully will be able to launch his Zoom profile and show us some freeform modeling techniques in Blender 3D. Otherwise, I'm sharing my screen now. So on the concrete competition part, most of you already have registered who are here, but if someone haven't yet, you have 1 day, 4 hours, 52 minutes and 15 seconds left. What else? We also added the section from the last week's meetup about the task. So basically, these are the elements that you can design in the next Tuesday's competition. The one that is actually new, which we haven't yet presented, and we will only present it on the next Tuesday when the event launches, is the Isaiah Berlin Memorial, where you will design a small-scale monument for the famous philosopher, historian, and professor from the University of Oxford. So he will have a memorial place in the new campus. And that's also one of the tasks that you can take on. Also, that probably already was mentioned, but there is an option to also design your own freeform sculpture or installation. However, we presume that most teams will attempt bench or bicycle stand because those actually are much more realizable, but we are not limiting your creativity in any shape, form, or yeah, there is free creativity, no limitations. Anyhow, that would be about the competition. Someone said that the registration shows that it's closed, should be fixed. It's not closed yet, but soon it will be. So not much time left. Oh, and there is also a video with music. Nice, it auto plays, apparently. Great. That's all perfect. The next part I wanted to show you is the Miro board. For those of you who have missed any of the meetups before, you can access the information here always. That's in the participants chat. Anyhow, that would be probably all from me. We can do a little quick introduction first, because we would not like to know what is your level of Blender. Have you designed before, so we can better understand that part. And you can say just your name and what's your current experience with Blender 3D software, or if you are using other software. So the idea why we are showing you today Blender, it's actually already, I think, 3rd or 4th Blender meetup this semester. It's definitely not the best software for one specific goal, but it's a great generalization software. So if you have to create ideas quickly, for example, in a 4-hour idea competition, then Blender is actually quite a great idea because you can do it quickly. But of course, if you are already using a software and you are proficient in 3D modeling, it's definitely not required that you use Blender. However, if you don't, or if you want to learn something new, then Blender talks really well with other softwares. It's easy to export the models in different formats. It's free and community supported. Otherwise, let's start the introduction circle. Hopefully, someone will introduce themselves. You can let us know if you are ready to introduce yourself by switching on the camera, and then we will call you out. And otherwise, I'm Atis. I'm an architect. I haven't designed in Blender too much, but I have been a part of these meetups, so I would say I'm a beginner. And mostly I use ArchiCAD in my daily life, or Rhinoceros, Rhino 3D. Actually, I use that one more. I really like it. But Blender is really cool because you can render stuff inside it, and then that's really powerful. Well, that's about me. Let's move forward to the next participant.
Okay, I guess I'm next one. My name is Andra. I'm studying architecture and I have a little experience with Blender, same as Matis from these meetups. And I also have used SketchUp, but I would say it's not really meant to be for free forms. And yeah, I guess that's it. And the next one is probably Vladimir's. You can say hi.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm as well architecture student, and for me Blender is something new. Like I know this program, but I wasn't use it. For 3D modeling, I'm using Rhino, Grasshopper, like Rhinoceros.
Awesome. It's always nice to see some who uses Rhino. That's very nice. The new version or the old one?
What?
The new or the old version of Rhino?
Rhino 7.
Okay, great, awesome. Okay, do we have anyone else who's ready to share their modeling? Especially if some of you already have experience. Yeah.
Maybe Evie, you want to share?
Yeah, I can speak. So, hi, my name is Evie. I'm studying landscape architecture and I have never used Blender. I know as a program, a software, but I have never used it. But I'm using for my studies SketchUp, like 3D modeling, and yeah, that's basically it. And the rendering program Lumion. So that's it. Yeah.
Perfect. So for you, I think you would appreciate that Blender has this rendering engine, but Lumion is also great, and you can also render Blender Blender assets in Lumion if you want to. But for me, I also use SketchUp, but really kind of sold me on Blender, although I haven't mastered it at all. But I really like that it has this organic modeling tools, a lot of them. And from Rhino, it also has some type of, it's not called parametric modeling, but you can achieve the same results and also parametrically control elements like subdivisions and etc. So I kind of like it. It's like a Swiss knife of a tool. For me, the only limitation as an architect is that the ability to produce drawings is extremely limited. So I would say even Rhino is better at producing technical drawings. But if you actually want 3D geometry, then Blender is great. Okay, do we have anyone else?
Yeah, feel free to turn on your cameras, but if you don't want to, you can also write in chat which programs you like to use and share your experience. So yeah, feel free.
The most important question that we really need to find out is what's your Blender level? Because if there is someone who's already proficient, or all zero beginners, and that's extremely important for us. So if you can drop that info in the chat at least, so we are not going over stuff that we already know too much.
I can tell that myself. Augustos, I am learning building engineering, I think it's called. Learning to become a builder, I think. And mainly I use AutoCAD. I fiddle with AutoCAD 3D modeling, but mainly I use SketchUp for modeling, and then different programs for rendering out the models. With Blender, I haven't had any experience prior to this, but I've seen the capabilities of what it can do, and it's impressive.
Amazing. Yeah, glad that you are already interested. Andrew, do we have anyone else?
At the moment, I can see some people are writing in the chat.
The chat, okay, is amazing,
and,
amazing.
Yeah, Atis, I think, got his camera back, and he
amazing.
got into the Zoom. It's always tricky part, but yeah. Are you ready to join in, Atis? You can try to say hello.
Hello.
Hi, yeah.
Great, we have a great distraction in the back.
Amazing. You have. Are you going to the gym? I thought gyms are closed.
You have the home gym. Okay. Do you need 2 or 3 more minutes to set up, or are you ready, Tim?
Yeah, I can start.
Okay, perfect. Then we did that quick introduction. The highest amount of Blender knowledge we have here is 50% mastery and 1%, and after that it's 0. So mostly beginners.
Yeah.
Oh, 5%. So I would rate myself as 2% for 1.
Oh no, then I'm 0.
I can
but
be 1.
It's fine, it's fine.
Okay.
Somewhere from 0 to 10, mostly. Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
Oh, I can see myself. Wow.
Yeah, okay, well, Ati, then
yeah.
let's take over. Yeah, I suppose it should be like also a little bit introductory in its spirit, the meetup. Yeah, so the shortcuts, etc.
So this is Blender. This is how Blender looks when you enter it. And everybody who hasn't been in the Blender, this is like your opening page. It has some options here, but they don't do a lot. Usually you just like click here and it's done. Okay, that's for beginners. Then usually you have a cube here laying around. The ones who have been in 3D programs, they understand that you like can move around the cube with mouse. Where's the camera? With this button.
Yeah.
Just click it and move it. And you also have this green and red and bluish line that goes up, and you can see it here in the small cursor. That helps sometimes to understand where are you. But basically, all the things you have to do in the beginning, you have to learn the basic keys, how to function with this program, and you need to figure out what you want to create. In our case, we want to 3D print a concrete or something like that.
Exactly.
So what we can do is like, I don't know, actually, maybe the ones who are here, maybe you can tell some ideas where you want this cube to go. Like how you can imagine where the cube could go. There's a chat somewhere.
It usually gets deleted, I think. The first rite of passage for modeling in Blender.
Someone maybe can share also some ideas, because basically this cube can become everything. Like the cube can become something that wins the 3D competition of concrete printing. And it can also become something not that great. So what is the direction where we want to go with this? That's the question. And sometimes the answer is like should go to internet.
There is one option that it could be a chair.
Chair?
Yeah, but maybe an interesting freeform chair.
Yeah.
Yes, the question is like, chair, could it be that?
Parametric problem.
Parametric chair.
We can
Actually, Vladimir, we have a really great video on parametric modeling. It's a 2-hour workshop that was in an architecture master training course, but it's beginner friendly. If you write me personally, I can later forward it to you or put it in the comments somewhere, but I need some time to find it. But it actually covered the parametric modeling in Blender.
So chair, what is chair? We have to think about the chair. Is it a plane? No. Is it a cube? No. Is it a circle? What is chair? How this chair looks like in Latvian university campus?
Most likely it will be this freeform shape. So basically it will be like a sausage, but kind of with special effects and surface deformations, or maybe something else, who knows. But the idea is that it has to be a little bit fluid and organic.
So it could be an icosphere, yes?
It could be an icosphere. It will be a little bit painful, but doable. Also, for those who are following along, you are using Shift-A shortcut, or you will later cover those. Or you used to have this when it popped up, but probably.
Yeah, at this moment, I'm not sure I have it, but like Blender gives the option of that. So, but this time I can repeat it many times.
Yeah, that also works.
When you're a beginner, one of the things you would like to use is like a Shift-A. Basically, Shift-A is like how to get 10 in high school. If you're doing 3D modeling in high school and you want to get a grade 10, you have to understand how to use Shift-A, because Shift-A gives like options to add objects, and you can add objects. And if you can add objects, then you can add many objects. So we can create plane, cube, circle. If you push Shift-A, this like add-on icon appears many times. And then you can choose what you want. We can choose monkey head. That could be a chair, a huge monkey head that we grab with a G button, and we can rotate it. it's a free form rotation right now. Like the monkey head could be upside down or on one side sleeping. There could be this campus around of RTU and
Hello.
LU, yes, or whatever.
next year at the
It doesn't matter which university. And
yeah, anyone.
it's like any university it could be. And I pushed Shift A and I added plane also. The plane could be useful in some cases. And if I take the plane and I push the letter S alone, I can scale it up. You can, yes, exactly. Scalable with S. And then if you grab the plane, you push G, and with G you can move it up and down. If you push also Z, G plus Y.
Y.
Y, yes, exactly. And X, and you can move the plane somewhere where you want. So G plus Z, move it down, you scale it maybe a bit bigger, and now we have maybe a campus chair that's the form of a monkey.
Straight to 3D printer.
Yes, exactly.
Winning entry for the
For the beginners, remember G. This is useful. Also, scale S. Scale is useful, and also R. Rotate. Rotate is really useful. That's like with these things you can like move your object when it's done. You can place it in the place where you need it, and then actually like for the object to function, like if you want something that's like physical, like movable, that's not like with straight lines, you can take your monkey head and switch to up here up. There's like layout, modeling, sculpting, UV editing, text painting, shading, animation, rendering, composition, scripting, and you can choose those options, and one of those is sculpting. And sculpting gives this option of sculpt. For example, you have this object that you wanted to squeeze somehow into chair. Yes, you want to have a cushy, nice, interesting chair where people want to sit. You can take actually whichever object you want, as long as you subdivide it. Like remember up here, there's like layout mode, modeling mode. Modeling mode is working with separate dots, no separate vertices and separate edges and separate vertexes, and you can control them by choosing like either here up here next to the under the files render windows, but a bit lower, or you can push like on your keyboard 1 2 3 1 2 3. 1 is for vertices, 2 is for edges, and 3 is for faces. And if you use them, it's the same letters G moving a separate element, another G here. Maybe you want this I to really shine out, that you just pull it or go from a side, and you can, sorry. Basically, this is the modeling mode where you can pull out separate faces or separate edges or separate vertices. That could be useful at some cases when you need to have some kind of, I don't know, like overlaps or something like that, and then afterwards you can explore it a bit more. And you can also like take this one or something like that, but here the same letters also. G for moving some object. If you use also Z, if you move them in X, Y, or Z directions, you can transform this object that you are having here. And this is the modeling part, and the sculpting mode is a part where you can like make some adjustments, squeeze it like a clay. play with that. But it doesn't work if you have the primitive object with not that much subdivisions. That's why it doesn't pull. It doesn't pull that easily, or it pulls a bit more edgy. But we don't need that for concrete printing. We need it for some, maybe it's not useful to concrete print something that's really straight and edgy. It's because you can do that with a box from wood easily. So you need some strange form of object. So why? Because it's not subdivided that much, we can go to the layout mode. Oh, sorry. Layout mode, no, the modeling mode. And we can, with letter A, we can select everything, all, and we can click the right button on the mouse and subdivide it. And we can subdivide it a few times, so you can see that there's like the eyes no more. It has more faces than it had before. And if we go now to the sculpting mode, we can sculpt this object a bit better now. We can pull like more individually these sides, and pull it, squeeze it. We can choose different kind of tool to use. We can add some stripes of clay. If you pull this bar to the right, you will see the names of all the tools that you can have. It's like a drawing tool that allows you to add small pieces of clay, draw stripes, draw sharp. It's like also a different kind of tool. I'm not like super good with all of them, yes, but I understand that if you play with them, eventually you'll get something out of it.
Yeah, the general gist is that sculpting is hard. It does take some getting used to. Some professionals use like pressure sensitive pens, so then you can adjust the input levels a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. But if you, for example, use the clay stripes and you have this object here, you can, if you do this long enough, it will create some sort of structure. In this case, it creates a lot of broken structure here. That could happen, but there are ways to fix it. Like in some of the previous ones, we explained the ways how you can add more clay to places, or you can subdivide everything in similar size, like integrate.
Okay. Which function did you use to subdivide? I have totally forgotten how to do that.
In this case, we have to switch from sculpting mode to modeling mode.
Mm-hmm.
And here on the right button, you have
okay. I was in edit mode, I think.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the things for the beginners to understand that sometimes you can be in a different mode and the options are not available. When I started,
it's weird. I still don't have it. I have shade smooth, shade flat, set origin.
Wait.
Am I in the wrong place? Still weird.
Layout mode, modeling mode, sculpting mode.
I have a modeling mode.
Modeling mode, it should work.
Weird. I will try to shift A, and if I add geometry with shift A, I have to do it in modeling mode or in layout mode, or it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, I think.
Okay, let's try again. Or maybe I have a isosphere. That's why there is an issue. No, I have UV sphere. That should work. Object context menu. Probably I have a weird Blender version. I will try to download the newest one. We'll see. Okay.
Anyway.
Can anyone else reproduce it? Everything works for you people, or you are just watching and consuming passively the information? Because if you have any issues, definitely let us know, because if you can't do one step, it's really hard to later catch up.
It's impossible.
Yes, it's already hard as it is almost impossible, and let's not make it harder.
For the beginners, like one thing you have to get used to this space by itself. But if you get used to it, you kind of become fluent in it. As in the beginning, everybody said how fluent we feel. Like I don't feel that fluent in this environment. I can create some spheres. I can go to the sculpting mode, and then I can like, I don't know, I can imagine that this is some sort of a bench. I can increase the strength with the right click, and I can like draw and draw and draw and draw and draw and draw and draw. Or that's an option, but there is another option, for example, is to get a reference picture with the letters, numbers on the numpad, numlock place. You can change how it looks from different sides, and if you choose one, choose this one, for example, and if you go into the browser, you'll find a picture of what could be symbolizing, what symbol for chair.
Symbol?
Yes, what kind of chair could be there? Like, so, or something like a idea about the chair.
There could be like a hill, because they have like this kind of up and down type of, like, there are different levels that need to be connected. Like a natural element.
Yeah, for natural things, also Shift A. If you want to print something that like, no, you need a terrain, and for some people that could be useful. If you can add a terrain immediately, I think in some of the previous we already showed, but you need to go to the edit preferences, and if you go to add-ons, sorry, this is in the wrong window. If you go to the add-ons, and there's like a lot of add-ons that your Blender already has with it, and there's like add-ons of add meshes. This just gives more methods what to add immediately, and then to work on it. For example, terrains has a INT landscape, and I think it goes by the default. There's also a bolt factory where you can create bolts, and that could also be useful, I guess, maybe. And there's like a lot of other options that are as a standard. So if you select some of them, you just click off, and now if pushing Shift A on the side of meshes, you have a lot more options. For example, now I have option to create a brilliant diamond, and I can put it here, and now we can use it.
Diamond chair.
Diamond chair, yes, for example. I'm not sure how good the printer is with this kind of things, but anyway, there's
I think it's doable. It could be doable. It would be funny if like all of the competition entries are like, there's a diamond, a monkey,
yes,
a box.
Yeah, but basically, if you why it's useful, why the Shift A is useful, because you can get the basic starting mesh.
Geometry.
You don't have to think. You can start from somewhere. You don't have to create everything from the base. And I think all the teams who haven't worked with this should like first choose to try something that is already like in a form. Because if we choose this diamond brilliant, and we can go to the modeling mode, we can subdivide it a bit more, and now we can, if we go to the sculpting mode, then this diamond can now we can play with it. We can draw some sides for it with clay stripes, for example, extend it here. Create some kind of stranger borders, or this could be a chair, yeah.
It would be a great entry, I would say. Definitely top 10 at least. Yeah.
As you start from somewhere here, okay, and now the chair has some
Looks like a baseball glove for like American universities.
Yeah, exactly. It has some sort of looks. Change the light a bit.
Indra would like to see how you can create something from complete zero. I suppose with the, but like, can you actually do it in Blender, like from a line or from a point, construct something from beginning? I have never done it also.
No, if you have nothing.
If you have completely nothing, you have deleted the entry point, you don't use mesh. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question actually. What can you
We
do?
have always, yeah, from completely nothing. Well, you can use plane, then you can, I suppose, extrude the planes, for example, and then you can smooth them over. No.
But then you have the plane at the beginning.
Yeah, I suppose that's what Indra meant, like starting from a 2D element. Even nothing is something because you have coordinate, plane and axis. You would have to build your own software to begin from complete nothing.
It's an interesting question. Yes. I think you have to go to some kind of pencil.
Oh, that's a good point.
Even here we have a stroke.
Oh yeah, that was totally input from zero. Yeah.
Okay.
If we scale it up and rotate it flatly, we already have a great chair, I would say. Like, yeah. Maybe Indra's question was actually how to start it from basic, like from very easily and slowly. Indra, maybe you can clarify. Maybe we're going, but this was a good direction. I really like this tool. I haven't used it before, like the pencil tool, because it really has beginning and end. Yeah, Indra says yes, that she's interested in basics.
But the question is like, what do you want to draw?
I suppose a chair or some form from zero, but I think you are doing it. That's really great. We just explored the pencil tool. We can continue playing with it or try some other tools too.
Or you can also draw a simple chair just to show the idea how Blender works. Like it could be square form. It's fine for this case. I think just people want to see how the forms maybe evolve, or you can maybe, I don't know.
Like one of the forms, like cube could be a great starting point. Always, you can you take the cube, you push, you go to the editing mode by pushing tab button, and then you can choose with 1, 2, 3. As you remember, like you can take the vertices, edges, or faces. And if I choose, for example, this top upper face, if I push G, I can create it bigger. So if I push E, I can extrude a box out of it. If I choose a different side now, for example, push Shift and put it on the both sides and push Extrude. I need some Extrude. Like I chose object here, one face on one side and one other face on the opposite side. And if I push I don't push the E for extrude, but I push the right button on the mouse, I can get like other options of extruding. Extrude faces along normals. If I extrude them along normals, it grows on both sides. And now I have a letter T here. So what I did, I pushed on one side and the opposite side, and then I just push the right button on the mouse. It gives options. Here's also a subdivision option in the same place. I subdivided now in a lot of squares here, and I can choose like these middle squares on one side and these middle squares on the other side, or maybe not this, but like this. I don't know, it's like somehow visually connected. And then I can again extrude along normals, and now on one side I have The middle is longer, and opposite side there is like a hole inside there. This is like, I'll turn on more lights. I have only one light here.
Lights can also be added with Shift A.
Yes, this is my one light. If I push Shift D, then I can duplicate whatever object. In this case, I duplicated a lamp. Shift D, duplicate. Shift. Push it again, and I'll move it somewhere here. Why I'm using lights is just that I'm now in the viewing mode that I can see the shadows of the object. It's here, the small circles here on the right side upper. That's the place. If you choose different ones, you can see also only the edges for a bit. So this could be useful here. And for example, if I choose this and this, I'll do it again. Extrude faces along normals. Extrude them like this, and now we have something like I would say it's a tree almost. Yes. I would extrude this one now.
How did you get extrusion options with the right mouse while pressing E?
No, it's just with the right mouse.
Ah, okay.
It gives the basic E for extrude faces along normals.
Oh, and I can also subdivide. Nice. I totally forgot about that one. And then you can rotate the extrusion face. Yeah. All that also works. Great. This is basically creating something from nothing, I would say. At least one way of doing that. When we started these Blender meetups, you actually Googled how many modeling approaches there are. And I think it was 13 or 14. So for example, one of the modes is kit bashing, when you actually just take already pre-made objects and put them together like elements. Then you have this organic modeling, you have sculpting, you have traditional CAD modeling, which is a little bit more similar to what Atis is doing right now. So there are a lot of parametric modeling as an approach where you actually do the algorithm to edit the geometry. So what is really fun with Blender, that it basically in a better or worse form allows almost all of these types of modeling. So basically the software doesn't limit the form you want to achieve. You can do anything with the geometry. The minus, of course, is that it's not the best in some of those modes. I think voxel modeling, for example, is very limited in Blender, but theoretically, like, your only limitation is your imagination, which gives really, really high pressure on you. If you don't have a good design, it means that you are doing something wrong, because software allows you to do anything. And it's also a little bit hard to learn, of course.
What is the question about from Vladimir's about the grass scope?
Yes, Vladimir. That is especially that meetup which I talked to you about. It covered that part. You can do the sliders, and you can actually take the source geometry and add surface modifiers to it. So one of the key elements, and that is surface modifying, but it went a lot further. You can stack modifier on a modifier. So for example, you would have a plane, you add a modifier that creates holes in it from the sketch lines, and on those holes you can put another modifier that, for example, offsets them, and like the same stuff that you have used in Grasshopper works also in Blender, only it's not Grasshopper, it's actually inbuilt in the Blender. I will definitely try to find it. I will also put it in the WhatsApp chat when I find that lecture. It's a really great one. Actually, it would be interesting for you too, Ati. I think it was our other Blender teacher, Elias, but he was so professional that we couldn't follow along his meetups. So basically, we kind of keep him for harder stuff, and he did the meetup on that parametric modeling. Ati, I think we lost you. The video started playing, and then we can't see you anymore. he got offended that we have another Blender teacher and left us. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fine.
I'll go back to this one.
Yeah, that's very good.
So this is how you get good at Blender.
Yeah.
You just practice and practice and practice.
Oh, that's such a good analogy. Well done. Well done.
It's like
I really.
it's in a loop, and
Mm.
it's in a loop, in a loop, in a loop, in a loop. So
I really like your advice on joining Facebook groups on Blender. It has helped me tremendously. Basically, if you go to Facebook and look, like we have concrete printing group, but there are a lot of professional Blender modeling groups for different types of levels of beginners or more advanced people. And you really see a lot of nice, like bite-sized tips, what can be achieved, what are the challenges. Sometimes someone puts in, I can't do that. And then there are a lot of helpful people who want to explain and show you how to do it. Some of them, which I am a member of, is Blender 3D Artists, I think, and the Blender World and Blender for Beginners, and yes, many links to share.
I'm creating something random now, but the ones
That would be hard to print. Maris would retire from the 3D concrete world.
maybe it would be. I'm not sure if it would be hard. Like
The overhangs. If you do it by element,
But
then
you
it's
can
easy.
attach them later.
Yeah.
like the Blender is not the place where you have to like at the beginning, at least when you're thinking about ideas, where you have to think of what's possible and what's not. You just try it out, especially if you're learning how to Blender edit like something. And because at any moment I can choose any plate and just pull it, extrude it, and create something.
This looks like this philosophic element that was in the tasks. Actually, I have a rotated surface and I can't subdivide it anymore. I could subdivide the normal surfaces, but I can't subdivide that. Is there a law that if the surface is like parallel? I will show you a screenshot. I think I arrived at a problem of a software. Basically, I can subdivide these different elements. Like I click here, press subdivide, and oh, again, nothing happened. Oh, here it worked. Yeah, because that one is also, I suppose, not flat. And here you can see I actually rotated this element here, and if I click in it and press subdivide, it doesn't. Also, I would love it.
It's kind of weirdly twisted. It's not one plane.
It is. It is.
It's not one plane. So you can.
Yeah. If I knife it, what happens? Let's see. Can I subdivide it that way? Knife is a great tool. Oh, it works. Then I can basically do it like this. Oh yeah, it's definitely not one plane. Yeah. Okay, great. Oh, that was my question. I think you can do that. It looks so weird here, like really wrong. Something is happening there. You don't see it. Maybe if we.
So yes.
Oh, there is no line there. You see, really interesting.
Yeah, you have something strange there.
Oh, if I lost the controls. Oh, now here we go. Yeah, the screen is back to you.
So anyway, when you create something in this edit mode, you can take the object and like choose all the plates or the ones you need. Subdivide it a couple of times. That's when you go to the modeling mode. And if you subdivide it a couple of times, and then go to the sculpting mode, now you have this like object that looks like this. Not sure what exactly what it is, and you start to think that okay, maybe this will not like hold like the 3D printer will not print the thing that we want to print, and we want to print exactly this because it's something special for I don't know, some of the teachers in the school. I'm not sure exactly what is the special part about this, but they know. No, you know. I don't know what is the magical thing that everybody wants and dreams of in Latvian university. Maybe it is this object. So you can go to the sculpting mode, and then you can choose some of these tools. And like, for example, now I'm just like bubbling it up. I bubble a bit these corners, and it grows. Maybe it's now more printable because the surface is
Definitely something that could be only 3D printed now. Like it's not any more easy form board. We went out of Euclidean geometry.
Yes, it's like goes out and you just blob it somehow. Blob your object that it looks. It has some strange shape now. Change to the mode where you can see a bit better. And you just blob out some parts of it. Here. Here. If it doesn't do a lot, you can, by the right click, you can increase the radius or the strength also. And you can technically turn on the Autosmooth mode that will smooth out like pieces that are out of hand. Okay, now I'm just bubbling this object here. It starts to get some strange shape, and maybe there's like a seed here.
Actually, I like it.
Yeah. So this is how, this is why I'm saying that you should start by Shift A to get some object, because afterward the object will not look like the object from the beginning.
Yeah.
The aim is to create it.
I think you have your submission for next Tuesday. Very good.
This is how I create random chairs, like printing.
Very brutalist.
Create a form, and then you just take one of the sculpting tools and just blob it. That's it. And as
yeah, definitely feel free to play. There are a lot of sculpting tools. I think this Dino Topo thing was really great, which you mentioned in the last meetup, that it kind of keeps the polygons in order.
Yes, in this case, what I'm doing is if we go to the if we go here, like they look
actually looks good. Yeah, it looks really nice.
It looks good because of what I realize is I go to the sculpting mode, right click on the mouse, and you have this Autosmooth. Autosmooth is just if you increase it a lot, it will smooth a lot. But just a bit of Autosmooth also gives similar effect, where you like you see the more immediate result. For example, here, like I increased Autosmooth a lot that I lost my hole here. Like it kind of, if we go into, look.
Yeah.
Was there.
So like, I imagine like doing traditional CAD modeling, it would take me like 2 days to get this result, and it would still be like a 2 GB file. And with sculpting and deformations, it's so easy.
Yes, like some of the sculpting tools are just doing this kind of magic a bit. That you previously I just created the shape, and now I just like wobble it. Basically, sometimes I think this is the way how they create those fancy architecture buildings.
yeah, they're like always like parametrically designing everything to the smallest millimeter. Guy just comes last night before and wiggles a little bit, and it's good. Let's print it.
Yeah, you choose like the grabbing tool. You grab like this, and you say, like, yeah, really good. This is how it will look.
Frank Gerley definitely. Zaha had it probably not, but Frank, I am quite sure he does. Yeah.
You bubble something like this, huge this, and some bigger this. Maybe this should stay.
No, I like that it had some characteristic of.
Like it that's a good feature to have actually, like that it grows out of something stable and becomes like some specific form into strange form.
What I said about these 13 modeling approaches, so that the unifying type is kind of a lot of those are through meshes, and I think if you combine two, like in this case, we combine solids or CAD modeling techniques with sculpting, you kind of get this a little bit more unique result, because it's not like if you just traditionally created something just by sculpting, it would look like it's totally from clay. And if you would design something traditionally to CAD modeling, it would look like an engineering part, or more like, at least it would really be easy to create that type of object. But if we combine these methods, we get something that is a bit more artistic, I think, and that's quite true. Or if we add like drawing on it, like, there's, damn, it's great. It's completely made like this for Yesaya Berlin, like kind of sculpture.
And then the Blender has also some interesting features. If you can play out how it will look in the nature, how the lights will impact it. But
yeah, I think let's go through that. That's actually something that could be very useful for the meetup for the next Tuesday. And I think that would also like kind of, we would be close to this.
But at this moment, I have this chair, strange form, not exactly sure what is that. Maybe it's printable.
Yeah, it can be done.
But then there are, I had, usually in the basic setup, you have one light, you choose the light, and then you can increase on the right side, here on the right side on the screen, you have this one of the pop-up windows shows up, because it's not, when you don't have a light turned on, you don't see it. When you choose a light, there is a light bulb, and you can change the color of this, your light. And you can also increase how much watts it produces. You can increase that it has more watts, 10,000. You can choose the light that it's producing. That can create some effects of how your object looks like. I was just outside filming compost video. And then we were using like this a bit green and a bit reddish.
That's how our competition logo was designed, basically.
Yes, exactly. And then if you see here, there is like option of on the bottom, there's like keyframes under there. If you pull it up, it's usually like this. You don't see it immediately. But if you pull it up and you push like this button and you take, for example, one of the lights and you lower the light a bit lower, then it shows on the timeline that there's a dot now that represents where the light will be in the frame number 0. And if you go to the frame number 30 and now choose, like I pushed a G plus Y, and now I can move my light object, and I can move it under there. I can move it on the X direction, and I can even move it lower. And then when I will play this now, the object, you can see that it's moving. I will reduce the amount of frames that I have to 50, just to have it shorter. And I go to the 50 frame, and I can take this. This is if you need to do a presentation of your object. This is the best way how to do it. You like you create a small video of your object being lighted. That always functions. That's the best presentation type that you can have, basically. And now I created something like this, that there is like object going around it, because this gives everybody can see the shape of the object a bit better when the light is moving. And for example, if I go to the light and I would like it to be like 2000 watts stronger, and it's stronger, and I maybe create that we have 100 frames. Now I have a lot more frames. I can take the lamp, I can move it also manually, but I usually like to use like G plus drag, and just to do it smoothly. And then I can check it out how it like goes through your object. And basically, if you have a camera and if you push 0 on your keypad, you jump usually to your camera. My camera is somewhere inside the object. I don't know exactly where, but it's somewhere inside. but if you go in the camera, in the camera mode, no, like I push 0, I see camera, and it shows this small window that is the filming area. If you click on it, you can start to move the camera by the same commands as everything else. Like, for example, move. Oh, so I did something you shouldn't do.
Oh no, you animated that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, sorry.
I
What's the
animated.
craziest animation? Yeah.
If you want
I
to
don't
move
know.
the camera if you are playing the video, that is one of the things that is. Like I will show you with other object. This is how why it's like sometimes easier to film something with a hand, because if you shift A and you, for example, add there random stuff. Simple star. What is that? Oh, there's a simple star now. Here. Yeah, I created something like a simple star. Look at this simple star. Is there? It's small, and it's inside our video. Like the light is passing it by, and basically, if you okay, we'll turn this star up. I'll push rotate Y. Okay, the star is like upwards, and if I, for example, push the G, I can move this this star, but at the same time I push also play. Yes, then I can manually with my hand make the star do what it wants to do. Like I put it from greater distance. I push play, but at the same time I also push G, and then I can make the star go around the scene and go back. Like that the star is.
And
like,
then they can add like that the star is also from a luminescent material.
yes, no, like basically, yeah, what do you want?
You just have to catch it.
But what we have now is that our object or chair has a star that is flying around it.
To make the object interactive. Yeah.
In this case, it could be also whatever, but like for a presentation, and if you want to sell your idea, this could be useful. Like because people enjoy that they see something intensive that moves.
That is true.
We like to watch something that's like active and happening, and something happens, and in this case, there's a flying star around this chair. People enjoy that. Okay. I'm not sure this is what I wanted to create today, but I did.
It's usually how creativity leads you. Yeah, we wanted to show how to render the object, I guess, so people can have like a presentable material after they model something.
How to render this object?
Yeah. Like add some materiality, maybe add these. You wanted to also show like how to add natural environment or like concrete, yeah, concrete structure. Yeah.
There are, for rendering, okay, one of the things you have to find your camera. That could be useful.
I think we also again lost your screen share though.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's a very beautiful nature view.
This.
Oh, this is really cool. This is amazing. Yeah.
It's just that my camera is also amazing. I like the quality. It's like wonderful quality. And I don't have a body. I just have a head.
Did you wear a green t-shirt?
It's blue.
Oh, but the background is blue.
And background is also blue.
Great.
And this is also something that why we don't 3D print this in this competition. No, why we 3D print in this competition is because we don't want to do this. We don't want to work with food. We just want to print it out.
It's true. Like creating those shapes in wood, it can be done, but it's hard.
Yes,
hard.
polish something, and the Blender is also gives you the option. If we go back to the sculpting mode, and you figure out that you want to add some parts here. Sorry, you have to select the object that you want to edit when you go to the sculpting mode.
Do you intend to show us the screen or?
Like, I'm just showing that you can always go back to your model and.
We can't see the screen yet. We see the polishing.
Oh, you see the polishing? Sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm totally not sorry. Yeah, you can go back and you can move your object a bit more even.
Wow.
How much you want. I'm not sure what it
really
is.
great. Yeah, it actually like it looks like.
It's really artistic and happy.
Yeah, I'm actually amazed. Especially like because the competition is 4 hours, you could create like 3 of those at that time. So
You can in your team vote which is the best idea and just like make a lot of ideas.
We gave teams too much hours to create designs. It's like 4 hours.
Well, they will create a presentation in the rest of the time.
So yes, basically, this is like how this could also function a bit better. Like if I would, if you have a reference picture, basically that you want to use. Oh wait, I was in the Google already at one moment, but then I forgot about that.
Yeah, for the material.
Mountains. For example, good. Go to the layout mode and I can download some of the objects. I look at the object from the side. And I should be able to drop inside objects. Not in this case. Dropping it somewhere really small. Basically, what I wanted to say is like to import something. Like you can import other objects from other programs also. So usually there are add-ons also to add something from other softs. They just wanted to add picture. And at one moment, I'm not sure how to do it. I usually just dropped it in. But
or maybe the new version changed. That's one of the things that Blender likes to update quite frequently. And sometimes the locations and and even shortcuts or the button presses change. Something to keep in mind.
Yes, like every version is a bit different than the previous one.
To keep you on your toes, yes. Well, you can also render it like it is. I think materiality this time is a little bit.
To add picture. Forgot.
There's that image. Yeah. If you do Shift A, you can do image. You press tab. There was a section image when you click tab.
Yes. Image.
Yeah.
Reference. Okay. Good. I thought it's like it will work with push and drop, but I'm not sure why sometimes it doesn't function like that. Once in a while.
Yeah.
For example, like just now. Oh. Okay. I added an image that could be a reference image. And, this that it's not shouldn't be this mountain, but it could be whatever. It could be also something organic.
Hello campus picture, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, hello camping. Campus picture or something can be.
Yeah, that would be great. Like they have a lot of territory there. We could also have a camping in the part where they haven't started building yet.
Yeah, small for the workers that will like construct this.
Definitely.
They will have small like living areas.
Mm.
Yes, and in this case, if you end up to add this reference picture, what I have done sometimes is that like I just put the reference picture there and just like use one of the tools. Good if you remember that you have to subdivide your surface.
This is extremely good when you do a quick sketch. So for example, in the next Tuesday's event, you don't have enough time to model, like you don't have such great speed as Atis, so you decide you will only be doing a sketch. So later, if you pass through the next level where you need to design the object, you can actually use that sketch and model on it in 3D.
In this case, like, well, no, destroying everything.
I know that would help if it not crashes. Although I think it's too late. Oh no, it's actually not too late.
Not too late.
Yeah, it's never too late.
Like in this case, it works on this area that I'm working in.
Ah, you have double geometry though.
No, yeah, it's terrible. But if you
that's not possible to print. Like
Yeah.
if you have like the line meshes that kind of cross each other, that's I think when it kind of breaks if you want to import or slice it later.
slicer
usually
will not understand this.
Yeah, you need a watertight object to print.
So that's why if you have this kind of situation you are in, you can turn off the dipto. You can go to this remesh area here on the right side, and you can remesh everything to one or something, whatever.
Oh, these are voxels actually. Yeah, that's the voxel approach.
I push this button, and it created this. Created a lot of holes everywhere.
But this is 3D printable now.
Is it?
It's hard print, but at least it's voxelized, so it means that I think it should be.
Technically, it has geometry everywhere.
Yeah.
There's like no holes. It looks like there is a hole, but there is no holes because
It's a proper hole now. It's not a geometry breaking hole.
yes.
Yeah.
And in this case, if we would put like increase the voxel size, voxel is the size of the one piece, because now if you do this remesh here, it remesh every single face on this object. And oh, I made it really small. 5. I'll make it 5. The remesh loses a lot of geometry here, but that could be sometimes useful if you want to create something. You had your flying in with remeshing and like trying to figure out the form. You were playing with it, and then you just reduce it, and then you just continue to play with it. Just push the next, add more clay stripes or something like that. Or in my case, you just break your geometry again.
I think now after you voxelize it, you get a lower resolution for mesh, which means you had to re-subdivide maybe it.
Oh yes, because they're big now. They're big right now. If I push Control Z,
like if you spend too much time on your great model, it can also get get this. So the idea what the pros do, like you after each half hour you save a separate file, so you can later go back, or you copy it out and continue working on it. So sometimes because what we are now doing is destructive modeling, which means that every decision we are doing is actually being baked in. So if you use like parametric modeling techniques, you can sometimes kind of iterate and not to do destructive editing. You can kind of enable and disable modifiers. In this way, it's all permanent. So if you think it's good but could be better, sometimes it's a great idea to save it with the time or date as a separate file, or just copy it next to the object you're working on, because it's really hard to go back like an hour where you had a good design, yeah, that's what sometimes happens with beginners.
Okay. So we have this broken object.
Yeah, it looks like a sci-fi movie now. After 1,000 years, acid rain and weather. Yeah, the pattern on top is really interesting. Like the voxel with this thin layer, it went wild. Yeah, that would be fun to print.
I think it doesn't function.
That would have to be a different material, like laser cut, and then combined with something. At least you have the geometry, yeah, and it's physical, it works. So yeah, if you want to know like about limitations of Blender, they're not many, but one of them is that it's a bit harder to be exact. So if you want something to be like 1 meter wide, you can do it, as you saw, like when Atis put in, you're always working with the real sizes, but there are not many places where you mark them. And also producing technical drawings, usually if we want to get something out of Blender, we import or export it to Rhino or to Fusion 360 or to other software that is more technical, and then work with dimensions there, because Rhino doesn't like lying in some way. If it's 3D, or not Rhino, but Blender, if it's 3D geometry, it displays a 3D geometry. There are no views that kind of fake this 2D view. It's always 3D. There is one meetup actually we did with about presentation, but it was hard. There's this cell shading where basically you kind of shade the object that it looks 2D, but it's still 3D. Like animators use it when they create these movies that look like animated, but actually they are 3D. But it never looks like really professional or technical. It always kind of feels a little bit sketchy. Sketchy, yeah, that's a good point.
So yes, if you are a beginner and you want to create something, remember you just go inside the Blender, go to your cube, and start editing it.
That's basically it, yeah. Or delete it and
delete it,
yeah.
By using the delete button.
Yeah, you can use the pen tool then, yeah. Or what was the drawing tool?
So also, you can, if you will add, whenever you add a new object, on the left bottom side, there's like a pop-up shows here that gives the option to increase the level of subdivisions. Also,
that is actually extremely important what you are telling right now, because you get this menu only once. Well, when you choose, there is no bringing it back. So you have to know. Yeah,
bring
that's
it to
one.
life. You can create the size, and you can also generate it where you want. So, and you can then subdivide it a bit more and start sculpting. In this case, it's a 10 meter diameter ecosphere, and we don't have that big, huge printer right now, but you can start to draw something on it, and you can increase the strength if you want to draw faster, and you can take a reference picture, and you can draw something like one of the last times I was drawing like a Pikachu. You just put the
20 meter object.
Yes, now it's a 20 meter object.
I can scale it down later.
Also, this is also something like if you push shift, you like reduce, build it, with shift and reduce it. Build it back, reduce, build. And I'll put on some auto-smoothing on the right click. It has the radius, strength, and auto-smooth. Auto-smooth just gives better result faster. It kind of, if you have a less subdivided area, and you go there, kind of whenever you break some of the vortexes, it creates the new geometry of auto-smoothed sides.
Was there a shortcut for kind of doing the symmetry? Oh, it's scale, only -1, I think, on x-axis. I wanted to like invert my object to like mirror it. Because Shift D is a shortcut that allows you to, no, Shift, was it Shift D? I think it was Shift, no, yes, Shift, in object mode, you can quickly copy several iterations with Shift and plus D. That's quite helpful. You think this is a good object, yeah, you Shift D it and create another one and continue working on that, because usually you want to arrive at several options at some point, because it's this destructive way of editing, and it's really quick because everything is instant. If you design your object parametrically, it's much slower, but it's kind of, you can reverse actions. In this way, you can, of course, press Ctrl Z, but only up to a point. If you press Ctrl Z and then edit something, there is a past you cannot return to anymore. So sometimes one of the approaches is just the model several objects in the same time, or another way is, yeah, I will try to find that parametrical modeling. For those of you who are more advanced in your 3D aspirations, this parametric object property adjustment for surface modifications, it's a great thing.
This is a really good tip from Atis that I saw, right? I duplicated like 8 objects, like, and then I choose one. I just increase, I deformate it like this. Yes, and then like all of them are like that, and then one is like that. Then I can choose a different one. Go to the sculpting mode, this one, and I can do something else with it. Pull some parts here.
I think we have like roughly 7 minutes to finish up this meetup. So if anyone has a like specific question that you want to ask Atis, or something you want to see you haven't yet seen, definitely do that, because this is the last meetup before the event. Next Tuesday is the competition, where you will probably present sketches or renders. It's your choice. But after that, we will probably have another, if Atis will be available, meetup where you can actually take your sketches or designs and kind of improve them in Blender. And after that, however, we will see if you want to also learn like Fusion 360 or something else. At least we will first talk with the 3D printing people. Are Blender files okay for them? If they are, it will be really amazing. If not, we will see what type of exporting options work best. But for form generation, I would say Blender is the quickest, at least for like kind of sketching in 3D, like we could call it. Oh, it also works. Like I have used it on my laptop that is like 10 years old or something. So of course you will not be able to do that many surface modifications, or like there are some tasks that are intensive. If you increase the subdivision levels, at some point it gets really demanding. But otherwise you can actually model in Blender in a 10-year-old laptop and it will still work. Rendering will be hard, but you can create designs. So it's, I would say, most accessible software that is out there.
Yes. So
yeah, lights and animations will not. don't try those. Yeah, if you have a 10-year-old laptop.
With a 10-year-old laptop, it will not work that easily.
Yeah, modeling, yeah, but editing, yeah, but not lights, not lights.
There's actions that can really hurt your computer.
Physically and psychologically.
Computer can like, what do you want me to calculate? So where do we want to go? I created some items that could be chairs.
Oh, maybe you can quickly show this rendering, at least so it gets recorded, how you can output an image file from Blender.
Okay, in this case, I will take my camera, pull it out somewhere.
Oh, you can also show viewports. That's probably a good idea. Like how you can do different viewports. That we haven't covered that, but it's quite helpful when you are dealing with cameras and also modeling from different sides.
Yes, I'm inside.
Pulling from the light. Yeah.
When you see this kind of cube around you, that means that you have pushed the 0 button. The 0 button jumps into the camera. And if you select this separate lines like this, no, like, so you can click it right now.
I think in the newest version they disabled it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Wicked?
Yeah, but you can still do it if you make another view, and then you can see the camera in that view, and then
Where's my camera? I realize what happened.
it's in the object. I think
More than
classically.
more
But
than
all of these little mistakes are what breaks. Like you try to model something in Blender, like, oh, where's my camera, and you can't find it, and you stop modeling. But yes, it's in the object maybe, or you can always create a new camera, of course.
But this was inside the object, but where is this one? Well, it should be another one. But anyway, yeah, I am somewhere.
Mate, do you remember one time we used some kind of shortcut, Shift-0, that created your viewing angle to a camera? I think that was.
Was it Shift-0? Maybe that's
Maybe
right.
I remember like
There was a really amazing
like
shortcut.
you can like move your kind of like this viewport to the place you like how it looks, and then click the shortcut and create camera out of the view you're seeing. So maybe it's easier than creating a camera and adjusting the size or something. But yeah, I'm
One quick thing,
gonna try to
what
search
I
it.
did here, because in my version you can select the camera by clicking on it. I think in your versions it also should work. Basically, you can switch.
I found it out.
Oh, you worked. Okay, yeah. So
Just in
basically, you
my-
can use
in my
this button
Steam.
here. Really also helps to get in and out. And you can get more views by dragging from the left side, which is really weird. And then you can kind of do all kinds of things, or you can also pull them from up and down, create like as many windows as you want. And I am giving back the control to you, Ati.
In my scene collection, I have somehow turned off like that it's visible. Push the I button, and when the I button is pushed, you cannot select it.
Yeah, there are a lot of shortcuts you can accidentally click, and then it breaks the software, and you're like, what's happening? It's really frustrating. I do like these chairs like this. I could see them in there. If they're a little bit polished, they're extremely
like,
printable.
Usually in Blender, what's missing is the ground. No, like these are really big. I started with.
It's. I think it's like. I think these are building sized right now.
They're like it was 10 meters in diameter. Like
I think
like,
it's a student campus already,
Atis
like
just
camping.
Atis just designed the new LO campus.
Exactly.
It started with the chairs. Look where we are now.
Some of the modern architecture really looks like that.
Yeah, I think they should hire you.
People are just like, oh, okay, great, that's something. Okay, anyway, we have these big objects. I'm inside the camera. I turned on like 5mm focal length. That's why it's a bit wide, I guess.
5mm are extreme, like GoPro level.
Yes. That's
if you want to show something big, yeah, in the close up.
Because we are close right now, and all of this needs some kind of color a bit. Add some color. And these objects could also have some color. This is one of the things that doesn't work that well.
I have to create new material for each object, I think.
Yes. Okay, anyway, we paint one of it.
Those 5mm lens is such a crazy lens. Oh boy. Oh boy.
There is this like very long snoot camera lens, and it kind of looks like that. You can like put it in small areas, and yeah, it's. I think
that's
it's
one thing where Blender is extremely real. You're actually working with real lenses, and
yeah, it's like a real lens.
You can also control aperture and even sensitivity.
now it's 8.
That's good.
Yeah, it is better. Yeah.
So we have this view. There's also usually useful to duplicate the ground and just like a simple way, rotate it. That. So you just move it a bit there. It's on the wrong side. Oh no, it's not on the wrong side. What it has reached is the view point end area.
Yeah.
Was it 10 kilometers?
No, it's not. It didn't.
Okay.
When we had this last meetup, yeah, we actually learned how to model in real world. It will be useful for you. We actually, all of them are recorded, of course. Although I suppose you can also find specific tutorials on YouTube. But in the previous one or the one before that, when we talked about sculpting, we looked at the environments, and there we learned how to also increase this viewport. Because if you have like a building, university campus imported into your Blender file, we will give you some geometry files for the competition. Then it can be sometimes that part of it is missing just because the viewport size is too close. You can either scale it down, but then you lose the scale, or you can increase the viewport rendering distance.
Anyway, I don't understand exactly why I don't see it, but matter.
Maybe you can scale everything down a bit.
Yeah, probably is
I
the
don't
easiest
know.
solution this time.
Maybe it's
We're
too
seeing
far.
even
Yeah.
cameras. I can try. Oh yeah, it worked.
Here we go.
Great. I'll scale this up again.
Great.
Go to camera. Basically, you have this window, and if you go up here and push like render image, like it rendered one image. It was fast.
Yeah, you can show how to switch the render engines. The Eevee render, that is default one, usually is really quick, but it gives a result that is comparable to what you see in the viewport. If you actually select the
You go here, yeah, rendering engines, and you select cycles.
Cycles is much more powerful, but it'll take, like, never try it on a laptop 10 years old, but it will give much more realistic result.
Even when you can see the live action of my video card trying to solve this problem of creating all the shadows in this picture. Go back to camera. It needs time to create every single shot that we take. If I push render now, and if I push render at this point, starts to render.
Now we understand why the color didn't apply. You had two objects on top of one another, and they were kind of transparent. But the effect is interesting. Yeah, achieved texture accidentally.
So it takes some time. If you want to animate something with full cycles, then you can all.
If you want to do it in competition and in good quality, that's where the extra 2 hours will be needed to render and everything.
But this one image, it says that one frame will take 1 minute. Wait, it's
I
possible.
suppose you have quite a good video card looking at what at the speed.
Like it needs anyway. If you need like 3 seconds of video material, it increases a lot.
Yeah, I would not recommend rendering video. Yeah, those who said they can do Lumion, I would say that would be quicker. Or you can render a video in Eevee render. That's a bit easier.
Or there are some options of decreasing the amount of light bounces. It just calculates a bit less. But if you need really qualitative material, then it's good if you can leave your computer for a couple of hours just to render. You'll just have really good pictures.
Yeah.
It'll take time, but like if you need something that is like for promotion, it's possible. So it's rendering. Actually, I can move it away while it's rendering and continue to do things here, but it will like compete with my computer trying to render the image. If I go here, and by the way, by default, I also at the beginning, because there's like option button render and render image, and if you push it, it starts to do that. And if you render animation, it will start to render the animation. In my case, 100 frames. And at the beginning, I didn't understood where it saves on the computer because it's not like written there. But if you go to preferences, you can check it out.
Amazing.
Yes, exactly. But where is it? Where is it? Saves. Render output. And there's a directory where it saves for you. Anyway, when it's done, you have your image. This could be a winning chair in the competition.
Yes, copyrights go to Atis. You will want a share of the 10,000 euros. Yeah.
This could be something else.
I think we can do the feedback circle
Yes,
for those who are
also,
still here.
yeah.
And also, if you have a question, the feedback circle goes almost identically as introduction circle. You say your name and one thing you learned today and will apply in your future modeling life. So I will start as an example. I'm Atis, and I really loved actually that I saw that there's this draw function that kind of allows you to draw with pen, and it has a thickness, and I think I will definitely want to try it at some point. I didn't know Blender has such a feature. I left the best part for the other people to say. So
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can continue. Yeah, I really enjoyed the part where Atis created simple shapes, like more with straight lines, and then use the blob tool. I think it was very powerful tool. It's something that I would use it, like it reminds of clay, and then you can model fast, and it's very fluid forms. I really enjoyed that one. And I will just call out some people. If you're able to join with your video, then please do. If not, it's okay too. Maybe Cynthia, you want to share your feedback? If you're able. I think Cynthia doesn't have a camera. Oh, well, if you can try, of course, but otherwise you can move to Toms or Vineta or Vladimir's.
Vladimir, I should have started Vladimir.
Yeah, like
most
we are
likely.
have a few people that are still
Survived all
till
this
till
info
then
dump.
they're
Yeah.
trying probably or thinking about them how they will create these shapes. So yeah, maybe Vladimir, you have some feedback. Otherwise,
Everyone's too tired now.
yeah.
That's what happens when you finish at 8:40 instead of 8:20. Yeah.
Oh, I guess yeah, this one was more to see and then kind of learn. So I think definitely everyone learned something. Vladimir's here. Maybe you want to join in? Well, we have some last minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was here. I wasn't here the question, but I understand that is the
What you
we-
learned, basically,
what I
or
learned.
what you
Yes.
liked the most.
Of course, I was right before.
Wow,
Oh, we can
you
see.
have a lot.
We can see. I have a white paper where I write the
Yeah.
commands that are
Cool.
useful for
Very
the.
nice.
Amazing. It's not
But of
white
course,
anymore.
for the
Yeah.
competition, I will use Rhino because
Mhm.
right now I know it better. But
That's always,
this program, this program Blender as well is very useful because it looks like there's very easily create sketches from very hard forms. Like in Rhino, it should be take more time, but it will be useful for the taking it on the paper like like a drawing. For here, it's like for sketch, it's very, very powerful.
Yeah, basically, I think Rhino and Blender is like the best buddies in regards that you can kind of draw an outline in Blender, and then you can kind of really edit the mesh further in Rhino. Also use it as a source for parametric surface, etc. So yeah, well, thank you everyone. Ati, do you have anything you learned today? How to join Zoom if it wasn't want you to join?
Yeah, I learned that Zoom can sometimes just decide not to turn on.
Yeah, I have had it once. That's like
Just
you
has
don't
its own
understand.
mind sometimes.
Neutrino particles flying to your computer's hard drive and hitting the.
Yeah, sometimes Zoom crashes more than Blender. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah. But
21st century, Stone
yeah.
Age of digital transformation. Okay. Well,
Okay,
thank you, everyone. See you
thank
next
you.
Tuesday in the competition. Excited you had time to join.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thank you. Bye bye.